When James Hetfield plays the Enter Sandman intro riff, the clean one, he plays it in a really weird way. For years, I thought he was using the G string. And then one day I saw him on a live video, and I realised he plays it like this. And what I realised is he's probably doing it like this because when they recorded the album, maybe that G string stood out too much. All the others are wound strings. As this is a variation to the main riff and our introduction to the main riff, they probably didn't want any of the notes to stand out. And to play it like James, you just need your fourth finger on the 7th fret on the 5th string, your second finger on the 5th fret on the 4th string, keep those two there. Then the fingers that you move about is your third finger that you put on the 6th fret on the 6th string, and then your first finger on the 5th fret on the 6th string. If this was a separate guitar piece, then maybe they would have left the note ringing out, like on 1, fade to black. But as this is a variation of the main riff and our introduction to the main riff, I think they didn't want any notes standing out. This is the same with Harvester of Sorrow, where they have a clean version of the main riff that they begin with. That same note there, it would have stood out too much and sounded too different to the main riff. The clean riff on Enter Sandman is actually different to the main riff. That note there, which is G, on the main riff is actually the root note E. So they actually came up with two amazing riffs, the main riff and a variation of the main riff. And I think this is what Metallica were trying to do on the Black Album, to use less riffs per song and get more out of each riff. And they even moved this riff up to F sharp later in the song. So you can play this riff with the same notes in lots of different places. When I first learned this years ago, I learned it down here. That's the great thing about the guitar. You can actually keep the same riff, keep the same notes, but change where you play it to get a different sound from the different strings. And I think although it's great to learn things the way it was played on the album and get it exactly the way it was played, it's also good to play things with your own style. And I imagine if Eddie Van Halen did a cover of this song, or Slash, or any different guitarist, they'd probably play it their own way. So once you've figured out how a riff was originally played, try and play it your own way with your own style. For example, you could just play it an octave higher. And do the same with any riff. Change the fingering, maybe change the notes if you want, and try and play it your own way.